传试音123，123。 各位记者朋友，大家
Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now, questions, please.
发言人您好，凤凰卫视提问：外交部网站刚刚公布对13家。
Phoenix TV. The Foreign Ministry just announced on its website the decision to take countermeasures against 13 U.S. military companies and 6 senior executives. Do you have further comment on this? Lin Jian, the Taiwan question is at the core of China's core interests. Recently, the U.S. has announced several rounds of arms sales to China's Taiwan region. This gravely violates the One China principle and the 3 China-U.S. joint communiques, gravely interferes in China's internal affairs and gravely undermines in China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. In accordance with China's anti-foreign sanctions law, China decided to take countermeasures against the relevant military companies and senior executives of U.S. Let me stress that Taiwan independence is as incompatible with peace in the Taiwan Strait as fire with water. The U.S. attempts to assist in the Taiwan independence agenda by arming Taiwan. This will not shake our firm resolve to oppose Taiwan independence and realize national reunification. It will only push Taiwan towards the danger of military conflict. We urge the U.S. to abide by the One China principle and the 3 China-U.S. joint communiques, especially the August 17th communique of 1982. Act on the U.S. leaders' commitment of not supporting Taiwan independence, stop arming Taiwan, and stop abetting and assisting separatist forces' attempt to seek Taiwan independence through military build-up.
人民日报记者提问：我们注意到昨日在巴拉圭亚松森。
People's Daily, we noted that yesterday at the 19th session of the Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage held in Paraguay, UNESCO inscribed Spring Festival, social practices of the Chinese people in celebration of the traditional New Year, on the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. What's your comment? We extend warm congratulations over the inscription of Spring Festival as intangible cultural heritage. It is the oldest and most important traditional festival in the Chinese culture. It is the time for family reunion and ringing in the new year. Writing fu, handing Spring Festival couplets, making dumplings, and watching performance are Spring Festival traditions that I believe all of you are familiar with. The Spring Festival embodies the values of peace, love, and harmony championed by the Chinese. It's celebrated in China and also around the world. So far, the Lunar New Year is a public holiday in almost 20 countries and celebrated in various ways by about 1/5 of humanity. Last year, the 78th UN General Assembly decided to list the Lunar New Year as a UN floating holiday. In just 1.5 months, we will celebrate the Spring Festival of the Year of the Snake. We welcome all of you and friends from all countries to experience the colorful Spring Festival culture in China, and sincerely hope that every places in the world will no longer see any conflict, different civilizations will realize harmonious coexistence, and people of all countries will be closer to each other to celebrate the Spring Festival and share happiness together. Next one, please. EFE. Could you please turn on your microphone? EFE Venezuelan government said that its vice presidents have arrived in Beijing yesterday. Government information said that he will have meetings with Chinese officials. Can you give us more details about the visit and the current situation of bilateral ties?
China and Venezuela are always strategic partners. Last September, President Maduro of Venezuela paid a state visit to China. President Xi Jinping and President Maduro had a fruitful meeting, charting the course forward for bilateral ties. China welcomes the Vice President to visit China. We are looking forward to implementing the important common understandings reached between the two presidents, carrying forward our traditional friendship, deepening cooperation across the board, and injecting fresh impetus to our all-weather strategic partnership for the benefit of the two peoples. We will release relevant information in due course about the visit. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人龚董事长提问。
Kyoto News. According to Japanese media, the Japanese foreign minister will pay an official visit to China at the end of this month. Our staff of the two countries having consultations over the meeting between the two foreign ministers, and what's China's expectation?
China attaches importance to maintaining communication at all levels and across the board with Japan, and we are willing to improve our relations with Japan. As regard to the visit that you mentioned, I have no information to share at the moment. Next one, please.
Thank you. Question from AFP.
法新社，台湾领导人赖清德同美国的众议长约翰逊进行了电话通话，中方对此有何评论？
近日，中方以
Recently, China has made our stern position on the visits of Taiwan authorities leader and stopovers in the United States. I would like to stress that Taiwan question is at the very core of China's core interests and the red line that can't be crossed in China-US relations. We urge the United States to recognize the danger of Taiwan's separatist moves against the peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. We urge the United States to abide by the One China principle and the 3 China-US joint communiques to deliver on the commitments of the U.S. leaders of not supporting Taiwan independence, stop interfering in China's internal affairs, and stop sending wrong signals to Taiwan independent separatist forces. China will take resolute measures to firmly defend our sovereignty and territorial integrity.
谢谢发言人。环球时报记者提问：3日，英国广播公司发。
Global Times BBC reported on December the 3rd that tomato purees sold by several UK supermarkets appear to contain tomatoes grown and picked in Xinjiang using false label. BBC also released a video clip trying to prove that so-called forced labels used for Xinjiang tomatoes and call on Western countries to stop using Xinjiang tomato or its product. Can I have your comment on that? As we've made very clear before, there's no forced labor in Xinjiang. The Chinese government stands firmly against forced labor and has taken tough measures against it. Xinjiang tomatoes, like Xinjiang cotton, are known and enjoyed throughout the world for their high quality. The farming process of tomatoes and cotton in Xinjiang have largely been mechanized already. Over 90% of the tomatoes and over 85% of cotton in Xinjiang are now harvested by machines. How could there be any forced labor? Journalism lives in its truthfulness. To say no to disinformation and bias is a primary ethic of journalism. This is also a basic quality for any news outlet to want to do fair and objective reporting. In the BBC story, a lot of so-called evidence came from what the interviewees heard or felt. The report is based on preconceived assumptions and jumped to the forced label conclusion without verifying the assumptions and by taking words out of context. The reporters went to the trouble of spending months studying nearly 20 tomato purees, but would not spend even 1 minute learning about the reality in Xinjiang. This is typical double standard with deep bias. In recent years, forced labor has become a convenient false narrative for some to create media hypes and attack Xinjiang. Their self-directed, well-scripted productions contain so-called testimonies and reports from dubious sources. Last week, the story was on Xinjiang cotton, and this week it's on Xinjiang tomatoes. So, what will be next week? Xinjiang solar energy or Xinjiang carrots? Whatever the disinformation, it will not change the high quality of Xinjiang products, nor will it make Xinjiang a less prosperous and stable place. We hope readers will see through this forced labor narrative, and we welcome people to go to Xinjiang try themselves the tomatoes and experience themselves Xinjiang as it is. Next one, please.
Thank you. AFP.
法新社，我想问一个关于韩国的问题：中方对于韩国局势有没有更多的评论，包括它的戒严令，以及现在韩国的政局，以及对于整个半岛局势的影响？
关于你提到的问题。
On the question that you mentioned, we have already released information yesterday which you may refer to. Let me reaffirm that China noticed the relevant developments and we have no comment on ROK's internal affairs. On the issue of the Korean Peninsula, China's position has remained unchanged. Next one, please.
中新社记者提问：昨天海南自贸港全球推介活动成功举。
China News Service, the event of MFA presenting Hainan Free Trade Port to the world was successfully held yesterday. Could you share more with us? Yesterday, the MFA presenting Hainan Free Trade Port to the world event themed on local practices of Chinese modernization, Hainan Free Trade Port, New Era, New Mission, New Opportunities was successfully held at Lanting He, member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, and Minister of Foreign Affairs Wang Yi attended and addressed the event. MOFA has released information and I believe many of you have covered the event. Foreign Minister Wang Yi noted at the event that building the Hainan Free Trade Port is a major measure of strategic significance to reform and open up in the new era that was planned and advanced by President Xi Jinping. Today's Hainan Free Trade Port has become a new forefront of China's institutional opening up, a new favored place for mutually beneficial cooperation, and a new powerhouse for economic globalization. We will remain committed to open development by advancing high-quality Belt and Road cooperation and implementing the Global Development Initiative. We will remain committed to innovation-driven development and work to bring more benefit of global innovation outcomes to Global South. We will remain committed to green development and never waver in our participation to climate change. We will remain committed to inclusive development and take active effort to implement the Global Civilization Initiative and deliver on the Global Security Initiative. Opting for China means opting for opportunities, and embracing China means embracing the future. At the 31st APEC Economic Leaders Meeting last month, President Xi Jinping once again put forward China's solutions of upholding open development, practicing true multilateralism, and jointly advancing a universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization. The port is a name card presenting China's reform and opening up. We welcome you to travel around Hainan to gain a first-hand experience of the strong momentum and dynamism of China's reform and opening up, and we welcome all parties to board on China's express train of development, grow with China's economy, and make joint effort to realize the modernization of all countries, featuring peaceful development, mutually beneficial cooperation, and common prosperity. Next one, please.
Thank you, AFP.
法新社。朝鲜和俄罗斯之间的协议在昨天正式生效，中方对此有何评论？
这是俄朝两个主权国家。
This is the business between Russia and DPRK, these two sovereign countries. Next one, please.
谢谢。发言人你好，深圳卫视执新闻。我们注意到中国在联合国。
Shenzhen TV, we noted that China officially launched the Global Fronts for International Cooperation on AI Capacity Building at the UN. Can you share more details with us? On December 3rd, China and Zambia jointly held the inaugural meeting of the Group of Friends for International Cooperation on AI Capacity Building at the UN headquarters in New York to announce the official launch of the group. Representatives from 80 countries, including Egypt, Pakistan, Brazil, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Russia, the US, France, and the UK, attended the meeting. As a follow-up action of the UN resolution on AI capacity building, the group's launch demonstrates China's commitment to the inclusive development of AI for the benefit of all. The rapid AI development and iteration opens up vast opportunities for countries' economic and social development. President Xi Jinping stressed at the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro that we should step up international governance and cooperation on AI to make sure that AI is for good and for all, not a game of the rich countries and the wealthy. This is what China stands for and an aspiration shared by the global South. The Group of Friends will provide a platform for international exchange and cooperation on AI capacity building at the United Nations, the most universal, authoritative, and representative international organization. We welcome countries to join and take part in activities of the group, jointly implement AI capacity building action plan, build international consensus, expand practical cooperation, bridge AI gaps, and provide strong impetus for the global effort towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any more questions?
好，那今天的记者会就。
If not, then let's call it a day. Thank you.
너무 안 해줬어. 谢谢. 아, 뭐 그치.